Trump and Trudeau. And you know, two of the key elements to being a bully are actually jealousy and insecurity. And Donald Trump has both. So when he deals with the PM from Canada, you have to realize that Mr. Trudeau, in so many ways, first of all, younger than Trump, two, better looking than Trump. And it drives Trump crazy in this breaking story. Because if you haven't followed Trump through his life, not only do you certainly know he's unapologetic and he's never wrong and he doesn't apologize. Those are all the traits of a narcissist. We get that. But the truth of the matter is, because he's always been protected and wealthy from the time he was just a baby kid, he's always had yes men and people to do his dirty work. And he expects people to just fall down and do whatever he says. And Mr. Trudeau is having none of it. And the irony of him flying down to Mar-a-Lago to talk to Donald J. Trump about this tariff threat that Trump is throwing around randomly without any real execution path or results of what it's going to do is actually a bit humorous and, quite frankly, quite a see-through of what Trump is really about. Take a listen to these two guys' history.
Well, he's two-faced. And honestly, with Trudeau, he's a nice guy. I find him to be a very nice guy. But, you know, the truth is that I called him out on the fact that he's not paying 2%. And I guess he's not very happy about it. He's not paying 2%, and he should be paying 2%. It's Canada. They have money.
He's already set off diplomatic shockwaves after talking tough with 6 leaders from the world's leading economic powers. And he was especially harsh with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in a series of tweets calling him meek and mild and dishonest and weak.
President Trump demanded America's top trading partners end all tariffs.
It's going to stop, or we'll stop trading with them.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was not intimidated. Canada is moving ahead with new trade tariffs July 1st.
Applying equivalent tariffs to the ones that the Americans have unjustly applied to us.
President Trump tweeted that it was that press conference that caused him to instruct U.S. representatives not to endorse a joint statement vowing to work on easing trade barriers.
When you hear Trudeau's response in this breaking story to Donald Trump's tough guy tariff play, and Trump is going to learn a very tough lesson besides the one that China and Russia are about to give him, but an example of this breaking story, the way Trudeau poses and presents his defiance of disingenuous dipstick Donnie and what he thinks he's going to be able to bully him about. How about no? Trump has dinner with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at Mar-a-Lago, mainly because Trump's not allowed in Canada. During an unrelated Friday morning news conference after the dinner, Trudeau said he looks forward to having lots of great conversations with Trump and that the two will work together to meet some of the concerns and respond to some of the issues. In quote, Trudeau said, "One of the things that is really important to understand is that Donald Trump, when he makes statements like that, he plans on carrying them out. There's no question about it," Trudeau said Friday. "Our responsibility is to point out that in this way, he would be actually not just harming Canadians who work so well with the United States, he'd actually be raising prices for American citizens as well as and hurting American industry and businesses." Yeah, well, there you have it. There you have an example of what Trudeau, what you've already seen from Claudia Sheinbaum in Mexico. Our neighbors are not going to put up with this tactic by Trump. He's not even in office yet. You have to begin to understand, if you don't fully grasp, we cannot be isolationist. The United States, for a number of reasons, from both travel, tourism, and the military, we're spread across this globe. And we don't just rely on ourselves. We rely on a lot of other countries for a lot of things, especially our neighbors to the north and our neighbors to the south.
Less than a year from now, Donald Trump may be back as the President of the United States, and many fear that that will have some dire consequences for American democracy, foreign policy, geopolitics. How is your government preparing to work with a man that you have worked with in the past, but how are you preparing for that possibility?
Yes, there's a concern particularly around the environment. Trump presidency that goes back on the fight against climate change would slow down the world's progress in ways that are concerning to me.
And when American companies start to realize, when American farmers, when American people who do business start to realize, gee, why does this cost more? And then all of a sudden Americans, instead of the price of eggs, start going, gosh, why has the price of cars gone up, steel, and other such things that other countries are going to impose on us? Maybe it will come home to roost. The problem is, to actually see the evidence of this takes time. And that's what I want you to bear in mind on this breaking story that we have shown you is, this stuff takes time. This isn't an overnight thing that we suddenly realize, oh yeah, tariffs are really bad for us. So don't lose sight of the fact that the truth is going to unearth itself over time about what Trump is trying to pull off. And fellow leaders are simply not going to let him have his way. So stay educated, keep focused, and as always, in the era of Trump, best stay frosty.